So today what we're going to be talking about is our third call, and we're going to be talking to how to break through. And because last week we talked about greatness, now we're talking about breaking through, and this is going to be one of the strategies we use to really push through to that next level. We're also going to be talking about harnessing your greatest power. And one of the first things I want to do today is I want to give you a tool that I learned a few weeks ago that's a very powerful tool, okay? So nobody can see anybody except you can see me, okay? So this is the tool we're going to do. So if you want to watch my webcam, you can see what I'm doing. So this is an exercise that's called priming, okay? One of the things that we're going to be building is we're going to be continue to build our success ritual. Now, we built a powerful state on the last call where you can harness that state and literally shift your biochemistry in a second. And what we're going to do now is we're going to add in some more pieces to that process. So literally create a 15 to 20-minute ritual every day that's going to allow you to show up in your most peak, powerful, grateful servant state, okay? And this is going to be a core piece of that. And this tool is really great. It clears your head. It clears your mind. It connects with your body. And this is going to take us probably 5 or 10 minutes to go through this exercise. So what I want you to do, sit in your chair, sit up straight, and make sure you're free from armrests and tables and things like that. Sit up straight, close your eyes, and there's two parts of this process, okay? The first part is a breathing exercise, and when we breathe, we're going to breathe in through our nose like this, and when we breathe in, we're going to do an exaggerated belly breath where our belly goes way out. So push your belly button way out. So it goes like this. And then when you exhale, you're going to exhale by pulling your belly in real tight, your abs, and exhaling through your nose as well. So it's going to go like this. And you want to be breathing strong enough that stuff may fly out your nose, okay? This is part of the process. So right now, everybody try that. Just breathe in really strong. Breathe out through your nose 5 or 6 times. Okay. Now, the next part of this process is we're going to integrate our hands into this. So if you see me on my webcam, and I wipe my nose because you guys are watching me. So you're going to go like this, and when you breathe in, you're going to raise your arms straight up over your head like this. And when you exhale, you're going to pull your arms down and squeeze your fists like this. So it goes like this. In, out, like that. So go ahead and try that about 4 or 5 times. And you want to do it raising up, hands open, pulling down, strong. It's almost like you're pumping your body. So do that quickly, as quick as you can, 5 or 6 times. Okay, good. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to do 30 of these, and we're going to do these with our eyes closed, and then when you're done, just stop. So I'm going to lead, and I'm going to go a little bit slower, but we're basically going to do 30 of these breaths up and down with your eyes closed, and when you're done, just sit in that space. Okay, ready? Go. If you haven't finished yet, just keep going. And when you're done, feel the energy inside your body. Just feel what's going on. Notice the stillness. Notice the peace and quiet. Feel the energy in your body. And now call in a presence. Call in an energy from the universe that has the ability to cure any ailment and heal any disease, any problem in a second. So call that energy into your body. and let it flow around your body to cover your entire body. Good. Now send that energy out to your family, friends, loved ones so it can heal them. Okay. Now think of 3 things that you're grateful for, one of those things being a small thing. And bring that gratitude into your body. And let that gratitude flow up to the top of your head, shoulders, arms, legs, feet. Your entire body is feeling gratitude. Good. Okay, we are going to do another 30. So get ready. 1, 2, 3, go. Go ahead and finish if you're still going. And when you're done, feel the energy inside your body. Feel what's going on. Notice where your mind is at. Is it wandering or is it aligned? Are you thinking about the future or the past, or are you in this present moment right now? Where do you feel that energy swirling through your body right now? Now bring in 3 things you're grateful for, one of them being a small, simple thing like your favorite pillow. Now bring in 3 people or 3 things that you love. Bring that love in. Great. Bring in 3 things you're excited about. Bring in some excitement. 3 things you're excited about or could be excited about. Excellent. Good. We are going to do our final set of 30 breaths. Get ready. 1, 2, 3, go. Go ahead and finish if you're not finished. Feel what's happening in your body right now. Feel the peace and calm and quiet. And just notice that it goes on forever. And acknowledge that life is, always has been, and always will be happening for you. JP, can you get that?
Muted.
So call in 3 things you're grateful for. Bring those into your body. Now just imagine that it's December 31st. And just imagine that biggest goal that you always dreamed of happening, let's just imagine it's already done. You grew that business, you've changed that relationship, you transformed your body, you transformed your finances. Money isn't a problem anymore. You've got money coming in, your pipeline is full. Whatever that looks like, imagine that's a reality right now. And notice how now when you focus about that goal, there's no doubt. There's no insecurity. There's no question. There's 100% knowing that it's possible, and it's actually already done. And you can access this space anytime you want to. And here's the interesting thing, is when and I'm sure everyone on this call has created a goal or a vision or a target at some point in their life in the past. And when they created that goal, that vision or target, there was doubt. The reason there was doubt is because that vision was created from a low emotional vibration, such as stress, worry, insecurity, fear. If you create a vision and start your goal from a place of complete and total gratitude and love, it's 100% certain, 100% confident. So this exercise we did right here took about 10 minutes. And JP, go ahead and unmute everybody. And let's get
unmuted.
Like, how are you guys feeling right now? Somebody give me some feedback.
A lot more focused than I was this morning.
Yeah, yeah. Was that John or Daryl?
That was Daryl.
Focus, a lot more.
Daryl, so a lot. Focus, good. Good.
And actually, my whole body feels better because sending the gratitude through it, I could literally feel electricity going through me because, as like I said earlier, my brain was a little frazzled from the last couple of days, but this was a good exercise. I liked it.
Excellent, excellent. Anybody else have any feedback, comments? What did you experience?
So
going a lot with what we're learning with BBU.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Good. Someone else?
So this is Christine. So for me,
Hey, Daryl, could you mute yourself, please? There's some background noise.
So yesterday we're in the process of opening our club, looking for our spaces, and we've kind of been around in circles. And so yesterday afternoon, the space that we had proposed to go into fell through, and the space we originally wanted we've come back to, and seems to be that things are coming together for us, and then that original space, and every time I think of that space, I get that same feeling that I just had now doing the breathing exercise, of that kind of fire in the belly, like when it made me nervous because I wasn't sure if it was a good feeling or a bad feeling. Yeah. But after listening to what you just said, I realized that dream or that goal or that vision of having in that particular location in that particular place, and that feeling is because I was at a level where I couldn't feel it or see it in the future, and doing that, I had that same feeling. So that kind of answered what I needed to hear today, was that it's okay and that this is the right place. This is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. Nice. Nice. Thanks for sharing, Christy. Anybody else? Okay. So everybody else, if you're not talking, could you mute yourself, please, because we're getting a little background noise. So thank you so much. So here are the steps to do that. Okay, I'll also post these to the Facebook page. But basically what you do is you do 30 of those breaths. It's a count of 30. So you do 30. And then when you're done with 30, you will focus on just feeling what's going on in your body. Then what you do is 30 breaths, Feel what's going on in your body. And the next step is to literally just bring in gratitude by thinking about 3 things that you're grateful for, one of those things being a small thing. And just let that gratitude flow everywhere in your body. And you can also call in an energy from the universe that has the power to heal any ailment, any disease instantly. And then you can send that energy out to your family, friends, and loved ones. And then all you do is you repeat that process. So there's 3 sets of those. In addition to gratitude, if you want to bring in another emotion, you can do that as well. Excitement, focus, passion, confidence, certainty, any of those. Bring those in and let that flood your body. Okay. Any questions about that? Okay. If you do have a question, you can also post it to the chat section too. Okay, so today what we're going to be, the outcomes for the rest of the call is really talking about what holds you back, harnessing your greatest power, and really how to break through, really break through and break through now. So here is a secret I'm going to share with you, is that the key to getting everything you want, the key to everything you want is actually very simple. It's 80-20. It's always 80-20. It is 80% mechanics, 80% psychology, 20% mechanics. And the thing is, as a person, we cannot outperform our psychology. We can't. If we try to outperform our psychology, we will be held back. Because we are designed to operate within the realms of our reality. So if we want to shift our results, if we want to shift our body, if we want to shift our income, our results we have in business, we must shift our psychology. And if you wonder what's actually holding you back or holding other people back, and what's really holding you back, and why people will be in the same place over and over and over again, and maybe you've tried really hard to be in a different place and you're in the same place over again, it's that psychology, it's that mindset, because it's the invisible piece that holds us back. And if we're not growing our psychology, we're going to be living in the same expectation, the same comfort zone, the same skill set, the same expectation, and that's really why we're not going to keep moving forward, because we are wired that way. It's in our nature. We're wired for survival and sanity. So our brains are wired to have fear in us. Like, fear is never, ever going away. We'll always have fear with us. And the interesting thing about fear is that in our bodies, it doesn't feel any different if our life is in danger or we're nervous about public speaking. And public speaking, we're not, or something like that, or selling, we're not in danger, but we have the same emotion thing in our body. And that's kind of how our brain works. And our brain is also wired for sanity, so that when we see a result or something in front of us that is not what we want, our brain will give us a reason why it's there. And then often that story, like, we created this story, why didn't I get this? Oh, I'm too young, I'm too old. That story that's in our mind that was created by our brain to keep us sane in the past or safe creates our reality, and that reality becomes the biggest obstacle to your future success, because that old reality is where you live. The reality, your psychology that you have today is giving you the results that you have in your life right now. If you want to shift that psychology, if you want to shift those results, you must shift the psychology at the same time. And for those of you who have seen a massive growth in the past few calls, it's because we're shifting psychology underneath it. We're shifting the foundation. Because you can take sales training, you can take marketing training, you can take a lot of skills. There's an unlimited number of skills you can learn. But what happens if you don't want to use the skill, or you're afraid to use the skill? That's why the psychology piece is so important. And that's really what coaching is, and that's where my specialty is. It's focusing on that psychological foundation, so it doesn't matter what skill you have, so we move forward. So really just, and the thing is, we're wired to be in those comfort zones and tell those stories. So what is a story? So a story is a reality created by your mind to justify a result. As simple as it is, I am too young. That's why I didn't get that promotion. I'm too young. Or I didn't get that promotion because I'm too old. Or I'm not smart enough. I need to be smarter. Or, I need more training. I went through that training. I need to redo that training again. Or, I need to get this before I can be that. I'm sure some of you have heard something like that in your head before. And the thing about all of those is that it's not true. It's a story. It's make-believe. It's like bullshit. It's not real. Because if it was real, it would be a fact. Like this pen weighs a couple ounces. That's a fact. NASA could measure that. A third party could measure that. If it's not measurable by a third party, it's a story. So my challenge to you is to start being aware of what stories are going on in our heads because we're always telling them. People literally identify with their stories. People will die before letting go of their stories. I'm sure you have some people in your lives like that who have this story about why things are the way they are, or they're screwed over, or they're a victim, they can't change it, and that's just how it is. Those are stories. And you will never, ever stop making stories. That's how our brains work. We make stories. So my challenge to you is to make up better stories. Because if we're going to be making up a story, why not make one up that is great and supports us? So instead of saying, man, I suck at this job, I am fantastic at this job. I can handle anything. Or this part of the business, I'm not good at it. Well, I used to not be good at it, but now I'm awesome at it. Or I'm not new at this business. Well, I will be new at this business, but it's going to take me a while because I'm still in the novice stages. I'm a beginner. I just started. So make up better stories. And then what you really need to harness that greatest power is the power of decision. Like, I am deciding it, it is done. It's one of our most powerful pieces that we have. And there's been times in your life when you have completely owned that power. And you have made a decision, and you have cut off any other possibility, and you have made the impossible happen. And there's times when you made a decision, and what you thought was 100% in, and it didn't happen. So harnessing that power is making the decision and sticking to the course. Because when your old psychology tries to stop you and keep you in that comfort zone and keep you playing small, you're going to feel discomfort. Because when you set a goal outside your comfort zone, your psychology is going to say, well, we can't double our income in 6 months. That doesn't make any sense. That's just too much. But any goal you set, if it's physically possible, if it can happen within the laws of reality, then it can happen. Most people will set a goal. They'll be like, oh, I set a goal really big about 10 years ago, and it was painful, and I had a lot of emotional pain for that, so I'm going to play it safe. My challenge to you is to set the goal where it needs to be set. Because the difference between making what you're making this year and putting a 0 behind your income this year is only psychology. It's the only difference. So we want to raise that bar. Okay? Because when we raise the bar, what's going to happen is we raise the bar to a level where it's going to be. If you work with me in one-on-one, that's what I do. I'm going to raise that bar for you so high, it's going to scare the shit out of you. But that is where the growth happens. Because when we start to move at those high-level growths, we are going to bump into those old stories. In the past, it's like, yeah, it's okay for me to make the same amount of money I've been making for 20 years because that's all everyone we're going to make. And that's just complete and total bullshit. You could make double your income in the next year if you wanted to. You could triple it. It's possible, totally possible. Because when you bump into those stories, you will feel discomfort. That's what a comfort zone is. When you leave that comfort zone, it will be discomfort. You may feel distraction, like, I need to clean my desk right now instead of work towards that target. Or I'm not really interested in that anymore. Yeah, maybe a justification or excuses to say, that really isn't the right goal for me because I think I was being unrealistic. And, realistic is what you believe. So whatever you want to believe, it will be realistic. But when we start to go outside of our comfort zone, we start to bump into a limiting belief or an old story. Our psychology from our past is going to try to keep us safe by playing small, because when we go into this other space, it's going to be scary. And you may get sad. You may get sad. And you may even cry. Probably will. You may feel lost. You may feel alone. You may feel, probably feel scared. But that's how you change, by facing that fear and moving forward anyway. Because I know that everybody on this call has a thing in their life that they've wanted to change, they've tried, and then they played small because it was scary. It feels like Mount Everest, but it's not Mount Everest. It's a speed bump. And looking at that thing may make you sad, and it may make you cry. I'm a man, and men, we're not supposed to cry in this culture. We're not. You're looked down upon. You literally are. But if we weren't supposed to cry, we wouldn't have been born with tear ducts. I cried more in 6 months when I was going through my advanced growth training that I've cried more in 6 months than I did 20 years because all this old stuff had to come out. If you have that cat in the bag or something under the rug, it's always going to be there. It's holding you back. So you have to face it because if you don't look at it, it will be there forever. So what's worse, feeling a little discomfort of the next day or week as you conquer this thing that's been holding you back, or feeling that thing over your shoulder for the rest of your life? And here's the other thing is that if you are a parent or if you are a husband or a wife, especially if you're a parent, these battles that you are not facing, you are passing those battles on to your children to battle, whether it's confidence, motivation, financial independence, working, overcoming childhood, whatever. If you don't face that and conquer it, you're going to give that gift to your children. If you face it now and do what's right and scary and terrifying and take action anyway, then you keep moving forward. And you know something? When you start taking action, you may not get the right solution. You may fall flat on your face. And that's probably what's going to happen. Or life is going to throw something in your face that you weren't least expecting. It's like, oh, my God, I just decided to face this thing. I'm going to go do it. I'm going to start my business. And all of a sudden, some financial problem comes out of nowhere. That's life saying, do you want it bad enough? Are you going to let that obstacle stop you? Are you in 100% that this is going to happen no matter what takes? Am I willing to take the hits and keep going forward, or am I going to shut down? Because when you shut down and you do not play full out, you are being selfish because you are a member of this world and your birthright and what you're part of is to make this world a better place. And when you play small, you are holding back and serving other people. So my challenge to you is find comfort in the discomfort. It's like find stability somewhere else. If you're in massive instability or massive uncertainty in your job, find certainty in your heartbeat. It's always there. Get your significance or certainty or confidence from somewhere else, because the same emotion can be used anywhere. And once you make that decision that I am not going to settle for feeling negative emotion in my life, then you will literally be on the path to greatness and conquering all of this old bullshit that has held you back in the past. Because how many of you are like having money problems or are paycheck to paycheck or struggling to buy stuff or you have fucked up credit? It's like, aren't you sick and tired of that? Really sick and tired? Like, I'm not rich yet. And I'm like doing everything I can to bust out of this space because I'm breaking financial chain and identity that has been in my family for years. Nobody in my family before me had lots of money. Everybody was paycheck to paycheck. So I'm battling that psychology that was passed down to me because I don't want my children to have to deal, I don't want my children's lives to be crippled or limited because they don't have the resources to explore this world in this lifetime. Aren't you sick of that too? Break free from that. Break free. Face that. Get focused on it. Make the decision. So here's what you do. Embrace the discomfort. If something feels uncomfortable, look at it. What is there? Be a detective. Hey, what is that? That was interesting. I started thinking about making more money, and all of a sudden I felt some weird emotion. Okay, what am I feeling that for? What is it? Oh, and you may find that someone around you or one of your parents may have said something about money or rich people or wealthy people or making people 20 years ago, and it's still stuck in your head as like it's a bad thing. I don't know if I told you this story, but I don't know, 2003 or 4, I was making $120,000 a year in a tech sales job. Wanted to go to a different company because the company I had was kind of limited capacity. I was ready to move 3 years and had a job interview. And identical role at a different tech company, was referred into this job by a former peer and friend from a previous company. And at this time, I was 30 years old, and I had got literally every job I had interviewed for in the past, like, 15 years. I killed an interview. Even at a company where I was interviewing in front of a team of 10 managers against 10 of my peers, I got promoted the fastest every single time. I ruled interviews. We go into this meeting, the hiring director is introducing me to the employees as the new guy before we had ever even spoken. He literally had my resume and a referral from my friend, and he was like, oh, this is Jason, he's a new guy. If I would have said nothing, I would have got the job. And the first thing he said to me was, this is a $200,000 a year job. At the time, I was making about $120,000. And when he said that, I went, yes! And then another part of me went, holy shit. Oh, my goodness. And I didn't realize it at the time. It took me a few years to realize what happened. And I literally had the worst job interview of my entire life. Boom. It was so bad, he didn't even call me back. I had to, like, hound him just to get a no out of him because he was that upset and angry at me. I'm like, what happened? And what had happened was my financial psychology was maxed out at $120K. At the time, I was already having some contention with my parents and my family because I was already making twice what they were making put together. And I had some beliefs in my head that were put at some point in my life like, oh, rich people are greedy. Making lots of money is bad. Money is trouble. Saving money is bad. And it literally caused me to self-sabotage and just blew that thing up because I didn't know it was there. So the solution is to embrace the discomfort. You make that decision. This decision is done. I'm going this way regardless of what happens. Really, like, okay, I'm going to hit this target, number one, or I'll be dead. Those are the two options because I'm going to work myself so hard I will literally drop dead. If you have that level of tenacity and focus, you will make anything happen. But it starts with a decision. So embrace the discomfort. Get comfortable being uncomfortable because, and then what will happen is all of a sudden you will no longer be uncomfortable. That discomfort will now be your new comfort zone. And then you repeat that process again and again and again. It's how we go. It's how we're wired. Okay? And what it really is, it's called courage. It's called courage. Doing the right thing. Because the right path and the easy path are not the same path. And while we are wired to look for comfort, we're wired to look for the easiest way. We were born to be heroes. We really were. We were born for greatness. And again, it's not Mount Everest in front of you, it's a speed bump. So here's some questions. So everybody, sit up in your chair, take a deep breath, and let's uncover some patterns in the past that may have stopped you. Okay. Think about a time in the past when you picked a big fat goal and were totally committing to make it happen. Think about a time you picked a goal, but then you got distracted, too busy, scared, or questioned setting the goal in the first place. Think about a time you were committed to this goal. I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to go. I'm fired up. Yes, yes, yes. And all along the way, you lost your focus. You lost your drive. You got busy. You started justifying, oh, that's not the right goal. That's too big. Think of a time like that. I know everybody has one. Okay? Now answer these questions. What was the pattern that showed up when, from taking the action until giving up? What was the pattern? Were you justifying? Did you go into distraction? Did you watch TV? What was the pattern? When did you stop? Why did you actually give up? And where else in your life does this pattern show up? So we're going to take about a minute or two to answer those questions. So go ahead and do that now. All right. Let's get some feedback here. Who's going to get some feedback? A time when you focused on something and a pattern show up. So please step up and share.
Just last month.
Okay.
I had my 90-day plan, pushed real hard, got through the 90 days it takes to get to get team, and then last month I lost focus. I got too involved in training people and not recruiting new people and letting trainees keep following my recruiting pattern. It happened after my 90-day plan, but my problem was I didn't set a new 90-day plan. That's why it stopped. And where I lose this pattern is in my follow-up. So I'm working on that really hard right now.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing. Thank you for acknowledging that. Excellent. Anyone else have a share about seeing this pattern show up?
What I'm finding is a lot of times when I
Sorry, go ahead. Try that again. I'm hearing some static there. Okay. Okay. Anybody else?
This is John. What I found is when I have a large project in front of me or something that's pressing, a lot of times it's something I really don't want to accomplish. I find myself finding a lot of busy work that just I throw in front of myself to get in my way. That's really not important to do, but for some reason my mind clicks over and that's telling me what I should be doing instead of what I need to be doing.
Okay. Good. And was there some form of fear behind that?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. What was it?
I mean,
what was that fear of?
That I was just nervous about doing or just was uncomfortable about doing, my mind always seemed to find some kind of busy work to distract me off of that project or thing that I was supposed to be doing.
But can you also see how it was like your psychology, like trying to keep you safe?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's the way we're wired. Awesome. Have you seen that pattern show up anywhere else in your life?
Well, I've seen it show up all over in my life. In current business included. So
okay.
It's great to recognize it now and recognize it in the future and be able to stop it.
Yeah. Excellent. So here, this is going to lead us right into the next question. Thank you for sharing, John. So the next question is going to be, when was the last time you picked a big fat goal, and this time you were 100% absolutely committed to making it happen, and you dug deep, did whatever it took, and you made it happen, and you made the impossible possible, and you were successful. I know everybody on this phone on this call has a time in your life when you made something unbelievable happen. It could have been high school, could have been college, could have been getting married, could have been that. Think about that time. That time that it was like, it started with this knowing that the result was already going to happen. It's like, I'm there. It's done. And you took a hit, you took a hit, you took a hit, and you kept going and kept going and kept going. So now we're going to answer those questions again. What was the pattern that time when you had success? When did you stop? Did you stop at all? Why did you stop? What did you do? Let me change this question. Did you do? Okay, so what was the pattern? Did you stop at all? Did you keep going? What did you do when it got tough? Sorry about this. Forgot I had a typo in here. So, what did you do when it got tough? What's the lesson, and what's a key to success you can take away? So we're going to take a couple minutes. So again, what was the time in your life You picked a big fat goal, you went for it, it was tough, you were challenged, you drove for it, you made it happen, and you like surprised yourself. What was the pattern? What can you notice about that time? Did you stop at all? What did you do when it got tough? What's the lesson, and what are a couple keys to success that we can duplicate for future goals? So go ahead and take a few minutes and answer that now. Did you notice any patterns there? Did you feel any fear? If you did, what did you do? Did you tap into any different resources? Did you tap into a different resource within yourself? What did you believe then? What did you believe about that goal? And how is that different from the previous time when it didn't happen? What are your takeaways here? What are a couple keys? Like, what are 3 keys so you can duplicate that process? Okay, let's finish up. Okay, who would like to share?
Well, I'll tell you, one of my big, I don't know what's going on right now, but losing 124 pounds at weight loss is one of the biggest successes I've had in my life.
I'm sorry, how many pounds was that?
124 pounds.
Wow, 124 pounds. That is fantastic.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, thinking back when it started, I just made a determinate, resolute decision that I had to do it, that it had to be done. And then I basically, reached out to my spouse, Emily, and got her involved, and then proceeded to find support.
Mm-hmm.
to
what
help.
did you do when it got tough, when you felt fear?
Well, I went back to the initial condition. I went back to that initial resolute decision of why I made it, why I was doing it. Back to the why.
To the why. Good distinction. So you had a very powerful purpose.
Exactly.
Excellent. Excellent. So what is your takeaway going forward for your next big goal?
Well, first off is making that resolute decision and incorporating the people around me to keep me on track. And then just go back to the original why. I mean, why am I doing that goal? What is the outcome? What is the reward? What is the end result that I'm looking for? And keep that in front of me more consistently to keep me motivated, keep me moving forward.
Good. So maybe put that on the wall, review it daily. And here's a tip right here is for the purpose, if you actually have, there's a positive purpose and a negative purpose. There's like, by hitting this result, I'm going to get these positive things. And by not hitting this result, I'm going to get these negative things. So when you define that purpose for your next goal, define both of those. I'm going to get this, and I'm going to avoid this pain. And that's where we amplify that power and that drive. Great job. Thanks for sharing, John. Thanks for sharing. Does anyone else have, let's hear someone else.
Well, when I was working for RMAC and I was selling properties down in Baja, all right, we used to do dinner presentations, and there wasn't enough presenters, and bottom line, I was running 2 different businesses, and I still wanted the ball in my hands, so I was going to learn the dinner presentation. The dinner presentation was an hour-and-a-half presentation in front of hundreds of people. I spent 2 to 3 hours every single night practicing the presentation. It took me over 500 hours worth of practice to get it down. Mm-hmm. I didn't stop not one night, and when things got tough and I couldn't get to it, I literally practiced in the car as I was driving, because I was driving long hours too. And it didn't, because I was driving clear to Baja sometimes. And
yeah. So what did you do when it got hard, or when you felt fear? What did you do?
Just swallowed it and kept moving. There's, to me, I didn't think there was honestly, I didn't feel there was an option to it. And,
Good. There was no other option, right? It wasn't like, okay, I hope I can hit this goal. It was like, this goal is done, and that's it.
Yeah, and there was an option, because nobody else was doing it. But bottom line is, I wanted the ball in my hands. All right, and here it was. They said I could have it, and then they didn't let. And as a result, they still didn't let me. They still didn't put the ball in my hands that often. But what it did do is it made me the best closer in Baja. Period. All right, because it made me an expert on the upper Gulf of California Biosphere Reserve, and there was no beating me. And the whole key to so what's the lesson? The lesson was, hey, God's in control, but if you do the way you're taking to get to your goal, it's going to make you better in other places. And the key to success: don't give up.
Yes. Don't give up. Keep going. Keep going. Pick that decision. There's no other option. Like, it's already done. I decided it. It's done. I'm just waiting for the universe to catch up for it. It's literally done. Literally done. Thank you for sharing, Daryl. Thank you very much. Congratulations on that distinction. And if you can mute yourself, Daryl, there's some background noise coming from you. I appreciate it. So, anybody else have a share? Who else do we got? Christine, Rebecca?
I can say that, just like John was saying in the past little section about, the fear and giving up and making all the excuses, and when I set a goal and I was determined to make that goal happen, and I just declared it and said that goal was done, then I didn't make those excuses. And even when I got tired and didn't want to do it anymore, I still turned around and said to myself, no, you're going to get off the couch and you're going to go do it, because it's done. You only have a short period of time. I mean, it was, I didn't know how I was going to get it done, but it didn't matter how.
Yeah. Good, because how is not.
Say, yeah, it happened.
Excellent, excellent. Because how is irrelevant. It's why. Where am I going? What's my target? Why am I going after it? And, you know, Thomas Edison did not know how to make a light bulb the first time. He spent 10,000 times. So Christy, what's your takeaway on this, your lesson for your next goal, for your next big fat goal, say for this quarter?
Is not to fall into that trap that most of us do when we set a big, scary goal. And just somewhat what I'm going through today was that feeling that I got this morning, whether I should take the leap or not, was the fear and the excitement, and that a little bit of fear and a little bit of excitement, but more excitement that, yeah, this is going to happen and our goal is coming true, and it's done. We're going to declare that it's done, and when I declare that it's done, then it happens. And how it happens doesn't matter. It's just going to be there and done. And every time I've hesitated and made excuses and put other things, like John, you said, you know, making all these other busy work in front of us, I don't reach my goal because when I go, I got to take the kids here, I got to give the kids a bath, you know, like all the excuses in the world. But when I don't make those excuses and I just say that it's finished and declare it and go back to why I'm declaring it and why this is an important goal. Because if my why isn't strong enough, then I'll always give up on that goal because it's not important enough to me. But because this goal is important enough to me, that there's nothing going to stop me from getting it.
Yes.
And that's what I have to always be putting in front of myself when I feel like I'm tired or that excuse comes up of why I don't want to go do something that I need to do or I want to make busy work. I just got to remind myself what that why is so Rebecca doesn't make me eat sushi either.
So Christy, are there any other things you can think of that you could do to avoid falling into that trap that you could maybe remind yourself? Was there a specific time of the day or week that you would typically fall into that trap that we could maybe set a little reminder to bust free?
You know what I've noticed is that in the last couple of weeks I've been doing, you know, what we talked about when we first started the call about getting up in the morning. I get up in the morning and I do a daily mantra, and if I skip that mantra, if I don't say what I'm grateful for and sit down and take that 5 minutes to myself every single morning before I start my day, then those excuses come, and those things come that and problems seem to come, and they become problems where when I do that, then they're no longer problems, they're just opportunities, and most of them just pass by and I don't even realize that, well, before they'd be a problem. So I have to do that. I have to hold myself accountable to doing that, to stay grateful and positive. So then those never come to me. I never have those excuses.
So it's the morning routine, the gratitude, with getting up early and gratitude. Is that what you said? Is the key?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So then, is there a 30-day challenge that you could do to build that new habit? Such as, I'm going to wake up at this time and do this exercise every morning for 30 days, or Rebecca is going to get to implement this awful thing, or watch me do this thing.
Rebecca gets to do awful things. Yeah, I mean,
hey, I ate dog food to break through an old habit of mine. So you can. Putting a can of dog food next to your alarm clock is a very motivating piece, and we're not the stuff that looks like steak, like the gross stuff, you know, with chunks of bone in it, right? So what would be? So let's just pick that right now. So Christy, like, what is starting like tomorrow? Is it different on weekdays versus weekends? Is it every day? Like, what does that stretch look like that's going to make you a rock star in 30 days?
Day or week doesn't matter. It just needs to be every day.
Okay.
Every day I have to do my daily mantra to keep the positive outlook on everything that's going on, and not so those excuses don't come, and just have to do it every day.
Okay, so but let's also change that language a little bit. Instead of keeping up the positive, let's just say the daily mantra to ignite the positive that's already there.
Yeah, to have a nice positive start to my day.
Yeah, yeah. And do you need to wake up at any specific time to do that every day?
And I typically wake up at the same time every day, so
okay.
Yeah.
So
no, first thing.
Is this like a 10-minute exercise, a 15-minute exercise? How many minutes is that?
It's only about 5-10 minutes, and I do it before I get in the shower in the morning, just as I get up out of bed.
Okay, excellent. And what if you incorporated our new priming breathing exercise into that to start the day?
Sorry, say that again.
What do you think about incorporating that priming breathing exercise we started today's call with as part of that process?
No, I think I'm going to do that tomorrow. I'll incorporate that with my daily routine because I like that feeling. I feel centered and I can focus. I could do that first and then do my daily mantra, and then I'm focused solely on the daily mantra and not all the things that are already running through my mind like that I need to get done that day.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay. And let's pick some leverage. Like what are we going to what is the motivation that's going to drive you? Like what are you going to do if you miss a day? What's the painful leverage?
So sometimes I've missed not doing it in the morning. Something happened, I got distracted and I didn't get it done. I do it in the middle of the day. So I do it the moment that if I forgot to do it for whatever reason, and I've been pretty good about doing it every morning.
Okay.
But I do it right there, and it really changes the rest of the day. Even if there's only, a couple hours left in my day, I still do it because it helps my evening.
Okay, Christy, got it. What if we put some leverage on that too?
Okay, I don't know what that would be.
like our friend who's going to eat sushi if she doesn't hit her goal. What is your leverage? If you miss a day in the next 30 days, what are you going to do that's uncomfortable or you don't want to do?
I don't know. I don't know what that would be. I don't know.
Okay. Well, you could write a check to your least favorite politician for a couple $1,000s and give it to somebody, and if you don't make it, then it gets mailed.
That's motivation.
That's the point, yeah. Or you can say, if you want to do my favorite is always dog food. It's like, hey, buy a can of dog food, and if you miss a day, you have to eat that dog food and record the video and put it on YouTube. Because it's easy to set the goal. Like I'm setting the goal. But it gets real when we put leverage on it.
Right.
And the thing is, and when you do this, it's like owning your word at a higher level. And I believe you 100% that your intention is to run it every day. The reason why I'm challenging you a little bit is because I want to help you take that conviction and your word to a higher level by saying, hey, I am willing to make this happen at such a high level that I'm going to do this thing. Like the thing that got me to commit to the dog food thing is that this was a financial thing in a certain area of my business where I had been playing small financially. And my coach was like, okay, well, just imagine we're 10 years from now and your son's like, hey, talking to his friends when he's 13 going, yeah, we live at grandma because dad wasn't willing to risk eating dog food to give us what we wanted, financial independence. And when he said that, I was like, ugh. So what this is doing, it's an opportunity to step up, raise your game, play at a higher level, and also put your money where your mouth is. Like, oh, I'm not just setting a big goal. I'm setting a big goal, and I'm backing it up with some leverage of something very painful. And it's gonna have this awesome side effect because it's gonna be, I'm stepping up. I'm making it happen.
Dog food it is.
Okay, so go buy a can of dog food. Put it on your alarm clock, and let's post that challenge.
You don't gotta buy that. I got some for you. I got some for you. I already got some for you. I'll bring it to you.
So bring it to you. And just put it next to the alarm clock, and you'll have a nice little reminder. Well, congratulations. I want to honor you, Christy, for stepping up, okay?
And we all heard it, Christy.
Everybody else, come on, give her a hand for stepping up, okay?
I got more than just Rebecca.
Yay. Okay. Now, I'm also expecting everyone else on this call to do the same thing, some form. If you haven't committed to a target this month, pick a target and put some leverage on it, post it to the page, okay? Thank you for sharing. Anyone else have questions or feedback on these patterns? Want to provide some more input? Okay. Let's see where we're at here. Okay. So here are a couple other questions I think we already may have answers. So let's take a couple minutes and answer these questions right here. So the first question is, we talked earlier about this sometimes these emotional things feel like Mount Everest, and they're really just speed bumps that we need to face. So in addition to the areas that you've just been thinking about right now, is there a different area or another speed bump or something emotionally that you've been avoiding for some time? Maybe forever. It could be the same goal. What is an area or speed bump that you can tackle right now that's going to drive you forward and free you from that emotional pain that little speed bump thing has been causing? What are 3 things you can do to conquer that right now? And maybe think of 3 resources that can help you. We'll take a couple minutes on that.
Can you go back to the last one for a second?
Oops, I'm talking to muted here. Okay, so upper right slide here. First one, what is an area that you need to conquer right now? What are 3 things you can do to conquer it? Who are 3 resources that can help you? And what will the next 5 years of your life be like if you conquered that today? And the second question would be, What do the next 5 years of your life be like if you continue to hide from that and avoid it? Who will be impacted? Will your family be impacted positively? Will they be impacted negatively if you continue to avoid that? How will your children be impacted when you conquer this thing that's been holding you back for a long time? How will your children be impacted if you continue to avoid facing this? And then the next slide, slide 60. Why are you 100% committed to conquering it right now? What are all the positive things that are going to come when you conquer this? What are the negative things you're going to avoid by conquering this? Okay. Anyone have any questions? Would anyone like to share?
Since no one's speaking, I'll go ahead and share.
Okay.
What is the speed bump that I've been avoiding and need to conquer right now? That's more follow-up.
Okay.
With organization. What are 3 things I can do to conquer it today? 1, when I get to the names and information I need for follow-up, I'm now working with my wife to help organize me to where it's in line to where I know where I have to, exactly when I have to call them. I have a terrible time with organization, and I no longer have a terrible time with organization.
There you go. In the past.
I'm answering to her.
Uh-huh.
All right. And I've got her right here to hear me say it.
Okay.
All right. She is my business partner.
Great job leveraging a resource to help you. Good job.
And I'm
after 26 years of marriage, I'm glad to know I'm finally a resource.
And I'm setting time aside, and I'm organizing time set aside for it. And the resources that I'm using is weight loss. We're conquering the weight loss challenge, so that we could have everybody at a certain place for follow-up on a certain day. Organization. I'm conquering organization for follow-up, and I am going to have follow-up parties I'm organizing follow-up parties with my coaches to have time on Mondays and Fridays for sitting down and calling calling our leads and our people. And the next 5 years, that'll put me at president's team. I'll live on a horse ranch. I'll travel when and where I want to. I will take days off to swim in my pool when and where I want to. and my grandchildren will have a wonderful place to come to when and where they want to. It will. If I don't do this, quite frankly, I have proven to myself this last month and a half that Get Team is as high as I could get without it, and I will not go any further than I am if I don't. And who will be impacted? Me and my wife, my team below me. Everybody that counts on me for leadership will be impacted because they'll have to go find better leadership because I won't be the leader that they need. So why am I 100% committed to conquering it right now? Because there's no way around it. I have to. This is it. This is what I've chosen to do for the rest of my life. I'm not going back. I've burned my ships. I have to fight or die. It's that simple.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing, Gerald. And a question for you. How can you apply the success and the lessons you've had when you were selling in Baja to this speed bump you're going to conquer?
Put it on a do or die situation, just like I did before. Make it more about the team. Instead of about me, it's about why I have to do it for the team. All right.
Okay.
I honestly, when I was doing it for
build that why, yeah. So build the why, okay. And build your why. And I hear your supportive wife in the background, but you write the why, okay.
But she's absolutely right. Is the point is that she knows what my why was, and that's why she keeps she keeps iterating. So please stop. Okay. But bottom line is, I know what I've got to get done. I've been facing the wrong giant.
Write your why for you. You don't have to share that with anybody else, okay? Your motivation is your motivation. You're the driver, okay? So leverage that. Just imagine you are practicing that follow-up process the way you did before, like the way you practiced that presentation. You'll be the best at it. Okay? Thank you for sharing. Yay! Okay. Anybody else have a share? Okay. All right, everybody. So post your distinctions to the Facebook page. Post your challenge for the 90 days, or I'm sorry, for 30 days, and a commitment to make it happen. Okay? The recording of this call will be available probably in the next 24 hours, and also details about the referral program are going to be launched probably in the next week or so. We'll have more details on that. If you have other people who you would love to serve by joining the program, shoot me a note, and we can serve them at a high level too. All right, everybody? Any final questions before we wrap up? All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the opportunity to serve you. I really appreciate that. Really wanted to remind everybody that, remember, there is a hero inside you. Let's let that person out, okay? Thank you for the opportunity to serve you. Have a fantastic day, fantastic weekend. We will talk in 2 weeks. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Jason, for your time.
You're welcome.